going to be that Check 6 team, and it is going to be Flex on Enhancement Shaman, and we are going to have Twix on BM Hunter, and of course we do have Toes, and he's going to be playing the Paladin.
Twix's pet, Bill Gates.
Yeah, he was telling me that he couldn't name it Bill Gates with an S because it said it was taken, because it's a famous name.
And Toes
repping that Microsoft a bit. That's a way to do it.
On the right side, Doja, Yogg, and Woundman really look into the opener from Woundman to see if they can get pressure out at the beginning of this game.
All right, we are going to follow Yogg out from the start, see how he's going to deal with all this pressure right from the start. Look for excellent portal placement, which is probably going to be under the bridge or on the ramp, depending. So see if he can survive from his initial burst.
All right, and Woundman is going to take it nice and easy, but Check 6 saying no. They're going to start this out at the very beginning. Spirit Wolves already out. There's that Bloodlust coming in from Fnatic. Pressure onto Woundman a little bit coming in from Flex, and Yogg taking a lot of damage from Twix. So it looks like that little bit of split DPS coming across from Check 6, and Fnatic trying to get pressure going on to Flex, but Yogg just getting pelted down to 4,000 HP. Peace, Yogg. He will go down, and that's about it. And welcome to the Beast Rushdown, as Check 6 does what they do best and establish on the cloth target and make it die in 5 seconds or less.
Not only that, we saw Twix sitting in line of sight no matter what Yogg did. He was standing on the edge of that bridge. He was in line of sight of his portal. He was in line of sight of Yogg running up that ramp. It was trouble. And he died mid-portal.
Has quite a lot of time for anticipation for that game one, huh?
Yeah. And sure was. And look at the amount of damage in that short game. They both Flex and Twix did basically 50,000 damage in that match, and Woundman did 22,000.
And Yogg did a whopping 5K. So I think he might have accidentally staffed or poked somebody throughout that game. So we'll have to see if they can change it up. But I mean, what happens when they get Ring of Valor?
It's even worse than that. That's it.
Yep, so Check 6 starting things out right and winning it uncontested. We're going to go ahead and head into Game 2. This is going to be played on Ruins of Lordaeron. Not really a good place for Yogg to put down his portal on this, as he's probably going to place it in his starting area and just kind of come out to the middle, and he'll be able to jump back. But still, it looked to Check 6. I mean, we saw them put a little bit of damage on the Woundman. I think if Yogg actually makes it out of there and just kites back to the starting area, they're just going to decide to go on someone else.
Yeah, it's and they have the viability of going on any target in this comp. So, you know, it's a tough switch for Fnatic if they do plan to switch. I mean, even though Yogg might get away, you know, they can always train Doja down or Woundman.
And Check 6 just starting things out pretty intense. I mean, literally, we saw that split damage for a couple seconds, and Flex connects, and that's it. Him and Twix on the same target, and it's over.
Flex connects.
That's pretty much been the story of it so far. And what is Yogg thinking right now? Like, what do I do?
He was taking a massive amount of damage that entire 10 seconds he was alive during that match. But I mean, what can you do? This Check 6 have said that they almost enjoy this map more than Ring of Valor.
We have heard them say that before. And here we go, gates opening. Game 2 between Check 6 and Fnatic. Check 6 already with that quick win in that first game. Gates have opened. And now looks like Woundman's going to go ahead and sprint out the gates, get things started. But so is Check 6. The beasts are out. Cheap shot onto Flex, but Yogg already down to 17,000 HP. HP is kind of dropping pretty low. And now Flex is onto his target as well. And it looks like he's trying to get across Death Pool, coming out very quickly onto Flex. He is Freedom, so as soon as he comes out of that, he's going to get right back over to Yogg. And in comes the damage as he finally establishes, and Doja's just pumping out heals. Now Doja caught into Hex, immediately Trinkets comes out. But still, this entire time, Yogg's HP is just dropping. There's a blind onto Twix, though, and it looks like he's going to be sitting through that. Toes caught into a fear. Yogg getting picked back up as Flex is caught into a kidney. So, actually, Fnatic able to turn this around. Flex down to 6,000 HP. Oh, drops to 3K. His HP is bottoming out solo. There's that Drained Soul, and Flex will go down, and it looks like Fnatic is decided to change things up a little bit. Yogg able to live just that little bit longer, and they turn things around. Blind on the Twix after Bestial Wrath, and a Fear on the Toes, and a kidney shot on the Flex, basically stopping Check 6 and their tracks, able to heal Yogg back up and get some damage going.
Great job by Fnatic. Right towards the end, we did see that Aura Mastery up, and so they killed Flex right through that Aura Mastery.
And after 2 games, Check 6 and Fnatic tied up at 1-1. I don't see either of these teams changing anything up.
Not at all. You look at the damage, and Woundman doing an impressive 64,000, a lot more than last match, obviously, since it only lasted a few seconds. But even though Twix and Flex did output a lot of damage each, you know, they Yogg and Woundman just connected on the same target when they needed to, and they were able to kill Flex.
And great job by Doja actually keeping Yogg up through that.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
got to be a painful situation. He sees the Hex come in. He has to trinket immediately, and he just knows that one setback, that little bit of a setback, Yogg has the potential to die.
He does, yeah. He was sitting at around half to 3/4 life during that entire time. We saw a great shock by Flex while he was in the middle of everything. Shocked Doja, but then Doja hexed Twix to stop the damage, and the game played out a lot differently this time.
Yep. And Twix having to sit through that. I mean, they literally stopped every bit of momentum the Check 6 had after they made it through just those few cooldowns. So really looks like the Fnatic was prepared for it, but just that first game, so much damage so quick. I don't know what you're supposed to do. But Fnatic not done yet. Tied up 1-1. Check 6. We all kind of thought that they were going to dominate this thing, but you know what? That's what people do best, is prove us wrong. So, and we're going to let these two teams talk things through as they do have the opportunity to change things up. Don't think we'll see any comp changes, but maybe a little bit of a strategy change from either team. But pretty much Check 6, Zerg the Warlock, you know.
Fnatic's strat basically was make sure Yogg stays alive, and they did it. I mean, Doja pumping out huge heals the entire time that Yogg was getting focused. So it looks like they're actually on your screen, way in the back, you see Woundman and Doja talking it over, and they are way, way back, way far away from Check 6.
So they're going to take a couple minutes and talk it through and see what they can change up. But the name of the game so far, keep Yogg alive, and we win.
Yeah.
But easier said than done. And while we have a couple minutes, we will go back to the Ask the Cast thread and try to pull a couple of good questions and go down to we're about at question number 583 from Pickles. And he asked, what do you guys think about the change to Feral Druids and them getting an instant CC/heal? And we've talked about it a little bit, and actually myself, I've been picking up a few new classes, having some fun. And Feral Druid's one of those things I've been playing, and I do believe in the future we will see a Feral Druid at these tournaments because, I don't know, I just think they are very strong in certain comps. Now, I don't believe that they're going to be this huge rush down, you know, throwing Cyclones out. I think it's going to be more about control, the control and damage that they bring to a comp. And that's why you hear a lot of people talking about like a Feral Mage Priest setup, 3 CCs, all in separate DR, and just able to completely control someone for a ridiculous amount of time.
Well, now, you don't want to say too much about that comp because you know what happens when a CC comp gets way up there. They put all the CC on the same DR.
Well, we'll have to see, but I really don't think that we'll see nerfs to Feral Mage Priest anytime soon. We're the Elemental Frost Disc teams. I mean, all these people on live that are having success with these double caster teams.
Where's my comp, guys?
They want to know.
Where's my comp?
And it still comes back to it. The gear difference makes this a completely different game in some aspects for a lot of these comps.
Oh, it completely does. There are certain comps that work great on live when you've killed enough dragons, and then you come to these tournaments, and if you try to run it with the type of gear you have access to, it's just not going to work.
And moving down through the thread, still trying to pull stuff as we go, and waiting for these two teams to take a seat. We do hear them clapping, and we see some people taking a seat, so hopefully we'll get Game 3 going in a little bit as we're tied up 1-1 between Fnatic and Check 6. And now we see there's Woundman slowly but surely setting up his area as he's getting ready to play. But all Fnatic has sat down, and as we see, Check 6 is sitting as well. So we should see them queuing up any second, and we'll get this going.
That was some amazing precision that Woundman had right there, setting up his keyboard and mouse pad. He made sure it was touching the very edge and lined up exactly square, and same with his keyboard.
And here we go. Game 3 going to be played on the Grand Arena. So changing things up each game, kind of getting a nice balance of maps.
That's what we like to see.
And zoning in, and it's going to be Check 6 on the left side of your screen, and that's going to be Fnatic on the right side. And waiting for these guys to get all in, and we'll get this game underway in just a moment. And looking at it, we do not see any changes from either of these teams. Of course, WoW always that wild card. You never really know what he's expect when he comes into these things. But as far as the comps go, they look like they're going to stick with their original plans. Now, sitting in this 1-1 situation, as Team Fnatic, do you kind of shrug off that first loss on Blade's Edge and say, let's stick to what we know?
Yeah, I think they're going to. Fnatic should be able to bounce back from that loss. I mean, that Yogg died so fast that, there wasn't much they could have done at that point. Like, once the damage started onto Yogg, there was nowhere he could have gone. He would have been out of line of sight if he tried to go under the bridge. His portal was in line of sight of Twix, so it was just a very rough start. So I'm sure that they've discounted that loss already and are ready for these next matches.
So let's go ahead and follow Twix out of the gate, get a good point of view as we see them try to start this action out right. And here we go once again. They're going to ride out to the very middle of the arena. We see WoW posting off to the other side, kind of waiting it out, and they're going to go straight to Yogg and try to get damage started. Yogg dropping down to 13,000. In come those heals right away. WoW out onto his target. There's an early death coil onto Flex. A little bit of pressure onto him. Shaman just a great just use another fear onto Toes. He will immediately bubble. Now comes the cooldowns from Check 6 though. Yogg dropping down to 10,000. There's a Hex onto Doja. Just those 2 seconds and Yogg drops to red. And down he goes with an HOJ from Toes. Twix under a little bit of pressure, but Toes looks like he's going to have plenty of time to pick him back up. And there it goes, and it looks like Game 3 is going to be another quick win for Check 6.
Yeah, it's that was a great job of stacking those CC. We saw the Hex right when Yogg was getting pressured, and then the second that Doja trinketed the Hex, there was an HOJ.
Yogg almost died in the time it took Doja to trinket that Hex.
Yeah,
like
a lot
that
of damage.
Split second, Yogg almost died.
It's a big difference with some teams that. Ring of Valor. I love this map.
Things are not going to look up here either, as
Nope.
This is the map that I'm pretty sure they were not wanting to see just yet. Ring of Valor, Check 6 is not changing anything up. Fnatic knows what's coming. I mean, in this position,
Yogg knows what's coming.
Yogg knows what's coming. They got to try to keep him up through those cooldowns. And actually, in that game, you saw Twix and Flex wait that little bit to go ahead and blow their offensive cooldowns. And just in those split few seconds that they're up, it's just too much pressure. Just a little bit of interruption on the Doja. That HOJ, honestly, I don't even think Doja would have been able to keep up with the damage that was going on to Yogg at that point.
Yeah, I think it was smart that they started their CC chain when he wasn't at full though. Like that played a big difference. Yogg was already taking a massive amount of damage when that Hex hit, and then the HOJ. I mean, even that split second of CC just made a gigantic difference.
All right, we're going down to Game 4 as it's sitting right now with Check 6 looking very dominant. The 2 wins they have, Yogg gets completely pieced. It's quick, it's dirty. There's not much he can do. And the 1 win Fnatic actually was able to pull out looked pretty clean for them as well, though. They made it past the cooldowns, but it's still very scary for this team, and I don't think this map is where they want to be.
No, not at all. This isn't what they were looking for. So we are going to be following Toes out of the gate because we really haven't seen anything from him yet. He already has Yogg targeted, so he's looking at him to start it right from the beginning.
And now we see there's the pressure onto Yogg. Big damage coming through immediately. Drops down to 14,000. In comes big heals. Intimidation stun onto him. But Doja just going to keep pumping heals and try to keep up. But still, cooldown's not used yet. And there it is. Arcane Torrent with an HOJ on the Doja. And Yogg is just going to die like that. And we do hear Doja speaking up. But, I mean, there's just nothing that I see Fnatic really doing. All it takes is that little bit of interruption. And Yogg dies.
Yeah, Doja did 73,000 or 71,000 points of healing in that short time.
He cannot sit through an HOJ. He cannot sit through a Hex. Yogg will die in that duration. So he trinkets one of the two, and he can't even really try to ground anything. He's spamming heals into Yogg the entire time. There's just not much for this Fnatic team to do, and they're going to be down 3-1 at this point. Czech 6 will win the series, but we're going to play out that 5th and final game as it may influence the round-robin standings as we advance towards the double elimination portion of this tournament on Sunday.
So the teams, if they need the time, they can take up to 5 minutes, I do believe, in between this next round. But, this is not good for Fnatic. It, again, is Ring of Valor. So we've got an exciting match ahead of us. I wonder if Doja will bloodlust in the elevator this time.
You might as well go ahead. You know what? Let's use the global in the elevator because I'm not going to get it once these things hit the top. Might as well bloodlust at the start. But, you know, your 4th and 5th game in a series, it's not something you want to do whenever you're facing these rushdown comps. It's just going Ring of Valor. It's not a very pleasant scenario.
It's very discouraging for Fnatic at this point. Had it been another map, maybe they could have done something a bit different, but I really can't see Fnatic winning this round at all.
And now we see it, Czech 6 bouncing back and forth. They're ready to get at it as nothing's going to change. They're going to get over to Yogg and try to put him down quick and easy. Toe's probably once again going to come in Arcane Torrent Doja and just throw an HOJ immediately after and expect if he trinkets, Flex will follow with the Hex, or it might go vice versa. But here we go. Elevators at the top for Game 5 between Czech 6 and Fnatic. As Flex is coming across, there's the Spirit Wolf already out. Bloodlust going to be used. If you see an opener onto Flex, though, and he's finally going to get over to Yogg. Yogg drops to 10,000 HP like it's nothing. And a little bit of pressure on the Flex, but Toes easily keeps up. Yogg still not picked back up. 16,000 HP, and Flex trying to get back around, but Woman's just going to stay on the Flex and try to mitigate some of the damage and keep Yogg alive. Yogg down to 7,000 HP, trying to get kept up, and that's it. Yogg goes down once again. A little bit of damage on the Flex, but
that was
not
all
going to be
Twix.
enough.
That was all Twix, that damage right there. That's how scary that BM Hunter is. Flex was controlled great that match. Fnatic doing a great job of keeping him off of Yogg, but it doesn't matter. You've got those animals all over the place on Yogg. Then, he took 70,000 damage. It's huge in that short amount of time.
So that'll do it for the series between Fnatic and Czech 6. Czech 6 going to win it 4-1. That will conclude tonight's matches, but we are going to come back with a little bit of a wrap-up in just a moment. But first, we're going to take a quick commercial break here at the Major League Gaming 2009 PC Circuit played on HP.